It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Hi, what's going on? We're trying a new way to do video today for those of you who watch on YouTube. We'll see if it works. That might not work. It might not work at all, but we've got to try something new. I got a new phone. We'll get into that in a second. We're going to do some sports today. We're going to do a recap of why should you vacation there? So there's that. And I think that's what we're looking at today for the podcast. But for those of you who are watching on YouTube, like I said, new video might not work, might be too close, might not be centered. I got a new phone at work, and so I'm using it tonight. It's weird. The program that I used to record my video no longer exists. I was trying to download it, and it no longer exists. Yeah, so I have to use it on my old phone, but it is not in the room with me, and I didn't want to go charge it, so I can just use it now as my permanent camera. So, anyways, a long story short, if the video looks weird, that's why. I got a new phone because I got a work phone. I've never really been a fan of work phones. I never have. I didn't want to carry two phones around, but as I've got more and more into this job at Studio 46, I've realized it'd be nice to have the separation of the phone that I use to talk to people that I work with and my personal phone. I kind of see it. I've seen some of the guys I work with have the difference, and it is kind of nice. So that when the work phone rings, I know we are in get to work mode, and you know what to expect. And when the personal phone rings, you're not doing the game of like, is this going to be a work call or not? You just know what you're dealing with. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to do this. So I got the work phone, and I've never seen anything like what happened when I got my phone. So since it's a work phone, the company I work with has some restrictions on things you can do on the phone. And so what happened, unfortunately for mine, was they maximized those restrictions. Maximized. I turned the phone on. The guy goes, "Hey, your phone's ready." I've never seen this before, ever. I had the phone app, the Messenger app, the FaceTime app, the Teams app, because we use Teams at my work, I'm forgetting, the email app, and the settings app. That was it. On the whole phone, that was it. Those apps and nothing else to be found. The bottom bar where you would put maybe your most used apps, so when you're scrolling through pages, those four stay on the bottom, was empty. It was empty. So I looked at it. I was like, okay, well, I need to get my apps downloaded. I'm assuming, got to get my apps downloaded. And I realized there was no app store. There was no app store. So, excuse me, I couldn't download anything. So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, how can I get around this? Finally, I go in the settings. I'm messing around, and I look at this. I'm digging deep in the settings, and I found the part that said installing apps not allowed, iTunes stuff not allowed. And I was like, oh, this is all this phone is. I was like, this truly is the most work phone. They only want you to call, text, and email. That's it. That's all you can do. And I thought, well, this is quite a wild phone to have, like a new phone, quite a wild phone to have to do those four things. Just at that point, just get me an old BlackBerry Pearl or a Sidekick, something that has a keyboard I can text on, because I don't really need anything new and fancy. Well, it turned out they had over-restricted it, and that got changed the next day. But there was a good 12-hour chunk of my life where I thought, how are the guys at my work functioning with their work phones? They all have them, and no one seemed to mention to me that the downfall of these work phones was that you could do nothing on them. But then I found out that wasn't the case. That was just this one. But boy, that's a weird look. It's really weird when you turn one of those phones on and you can't do anything. You can't download apps, and you can't do anything with it. It was wild. But we're in the game now. We got a new phone. We're going to see. Tonight I'm using it because my other phone is, like I said, dead and not here. So I'm using it. Thank you, work. A camera app was not on my phone. I don't even know how you don't have that on there. So we'll see how this works. Anyways, we did some traveling this last week, and it was really fun. I actually had a great weekend. It was one of those must-need, recharge the battery weekends. I really, truly didn't realize how badly I needed it until it happened. One of my best buddies, Andy, his wife Jalen, who's also one of my best buddies, and their kids came out and visited us last week. Jalen's sister lives just outside of Nashville, so they were able to come out east, visit her sister for a little bit, and then drive up to Lexington and visit us for a bit. And then as a bonus perk, Anna and I went down to Nashville for a couple days to see her friends and see the Gardners who had never been to Nashville before. And I will continually say it and spray it. Don't call me and ask me for insight on it. I've realized something about myself. We'll get into that. Don't call me and ask me for insight. But Nashville is an awesome city. Nashville's an awesome city. It's a big city. So if you're looking for, a big city destination and you're looking at the Chicagos, the New Yorks, the LAs, the Miamis, the Seattles, you know what I mean, the Denvers, all those ones down in Texas. Nashville's kind of in that mix of a big city vibe. I'm putting it as a big time thumbs up. I'm sure there's some big cities that you're like, And if you're not a big city person, the answer is just, in general. But I think it's a cool city. And I'm not the most diehard country music fan. I worked in it for a very long time, so I grew to enjoy it. And I'm familiar with a lot of it, which does make Nashville kind of cool. I've had some really fun experiences there. But I just think overall it's a fun city. And I really hope Andy and Jalen enjoyed it. We only got to have really one night in Nashville with them because they were out with her sister for the majority of their time in that area. But we got to go out and we got to do Broadway, just the main thing. You go to all these honky-tonks that people, played in when they were nobodies and grew into somebodies, whether that's a musical artist, a singer who started on Broadway, or probably for the most part, instrumentalists who are unbelievable at guitar, at steel guitar, at drums, whatever it might be, and got picked up by a label and thrown into a group with, one of your big-time country music artists. Maybe the drummer for Morgan Wallen, it was found on Broadway. But it's just crazy to see these bars that people have moved to Nashville, uprooted their lives, they've gone to Nashville, and they're trying to make it in the music world every weekend or every night down on Broadway. It's cool. I think it's fun. Again, I hope the Gardners had fun. For me personally, I love it. And I had a very enjoyable night walking around Broadway. The great part about Nashville is, and the thing I learned about it, people will text and say, what should we do when we're in Nashville? Don't ask me. I really do just love big cities, I've realized. So when I tell you Nashville's awesome, I love big cities. If I was in Chicago, I could probably find a ton of fun stuff to do in Chicago. And if you ask me if you should go there, I would say absolutely, because I love big cities. And I know that in Nashville, you can go to Broadway one night, and then the next night, you can go to Midtown, and then the next night, you can go to, I think it's Demumbrian or something like that. And there's just so many different areas you can explore. East Nashville, go over there, and just soak in everything that a big city has to offer you, from restaurants to bars to activities. It's great. And it's I guess it's kind of weird. A lot of people, especially when I worked for the country station, who I knew who were going to Nashville, they would be like, what should we do there? Just go have fun. You're going to be able to find the things you want to do. For instance, I'm not a big Grand Ole Opry guy. I'm not a Ryman guy. I don't care for the history like that. If that's something you like, go do it. You don't need me to tell you to go do it. Go do it. And then otherwise, when you get to Nashville, you're going to have fun. Whether you go, like I said, those places that I had mentioned, you're going to have fun. I think you need to do Broadway, though, if you're there, because it's just kind of legendary. Then the other thing we did, we came back to Lexington. It was fun to have the Gardners visit my house. My daughter and my son are in love with Andy and Jalen's kids. Tonight at dinner, Huck was complaining about them being gone. He was like, where are they? Why did they leave? Why did my two new best friends leave? And it was one of those great and sad moments where someone who I just absolutely love, his kids, my kids love. And that was a great feeling of, I like their dad more than you like his kids, but also our kids just got along so well. Then the sad part of that was obviously, boy, if we still lived in Spokane, we could really get together for a lot of daddy-kid dates and just come on over to my house and bring the kids. I'll come over to your house and bring the kids and just kind of hang out while our kids played together. That was a little sad observation to realize, oh, shoot, we missed it by a couple years. We had it we really could have had a lot of really fun, cheesy, chill Friday nights of just hanging out with the kids. But it was great to have them come up to Lexington. We went to Keeneland, which now this is the thing I will tell you to do. If you are looking for a cool activity to go to on your travels and vacations, in April and in October here in Lexington is Keeneland. It is horse racing. It's not the Kentucky Derby, which happens at Churchill Downs in Louisville. No. Everything I've heard about Churchill Downs is that it is kind of a dump. Everything around it is dumpy. And that, sure, it's the Kentucky Derby, and you've got this huge race that's part of the Triple Crown. But the whole environment of everything is just kind of trashy. Keeneland is the exact opposite. It's pure beauty. The venue is spectacular. Everything around the venue, unlike what I'm hearing, this is word of mouth, but what I've heard about Churchill Downs in Louisville is that you've got this horse track, infamous horse track, but around it and outside of it just isn't like the greatest area in the world. It's just not the great, it's not the most beautiful. Keeneland, everything around it is horse fields as far as you can see. These the painted wooden black fences that just go on forever and ever. It's gorgeous. And then, of course, the event is really cool. And I'm sure the Kentucky Derby is awesome with this part where the races themselves are cool. But you get like 8 or 9 or 10 races a day at Keeneland. They're all 30 minutes apart. And, you can go bet on them. I don't know all the ins and outs of horse gambling. But, you can pick a horse and random horse and bet on it to win or come in first or first, second, third. Pick a couple horses to try to come in first, second, third, right? All the weird bets that happen in horse racing. And then the horses are right there. And you get to watch them with everyone who's in the grandstands and in the general admission, and everyone's pulling for a random horse that we know nothing about. And there's just fun vibes to that. There's fun camaraderie in that. And we got to do that on Sunday, and I really had a great time. Of course, I lost all my bets. Anna lost all her bets. I think Andy lost all his bets, and Jalen won. Now, I will say this, and Andy is my witness. I tried, before we got to inside the actual venue, we were at a place just outside the venue where you can go and you can watch the horse races on their TVs and get drinks and get food. And we were in this building, and I was trying to figure out how to bet. And I told Andy, look, I'm trying to get $5 on horse number blah, blah, blah to win. That horse won. So I couldn't figure that out. I was bummed out. I'm like, dang it. Second race goes. I go back to this machine. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to log in. I think you had to be a member at this building to actually bet there. And I'm not, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I tell Andy, I'm like, look, the horse number 9, we need to put money on it. It's going to win. It freaking won. So the only time I had the right horses was the 2 times I couldn't figure out how to work the betting machine. You know what that means? Nothing at all. All right, so I guess we transition from the fun weekend and a high recommendation to go to Keeneland in Lexington. That's a vacation destination. If you've never seen horse racing, Lexington's very pretty. I think it would be a really fun thing to do. And then, of course, Nashville's just great. I think Nashville in general is a great place to go. So there are some vacation recommendations. Push the button.
Kelly's, what are you into?
Nice pause there as we get Kelly's What Are You Into going today. Sports. Man, the last time I did a podcast, I think was before the national championship, the Monday before the national championship, a week ago. I never even got to talk about the college basketball national championship. What a wild game. It ended up being a 1-point game, and the game overall, it wasn't that good. It wasn't really that good. It was a really weird, wild game. That first half of that basketball game sucked. The teams were not playing well. They were shooting terribly, and it just sucked. And the guy we all had clamored to see, I've already forgot his name, Walter Clayton Jr., the guy we had all clamored to see stunk. He was terrible. And so you've got this game that Florida's just hanging in there, and Houston seems like they want to put this team away, but they just never did it. The first half sucked, okay? But when it went to halftime, it was like, okay, well, this bodes well for the second half because at least, even though we just sat through a crappy 20 minutes, we're going to get a close ending. So you had this bad 20 minutes first half, but at halftime, you're like, this is going to be good for the second 20 minutes. And then the second half was a little bit better. People started making shots. There were some really good dunks. But overall, it still kind of stunk. The basketball itself kind of stunk. A lot of missed shots, a lot of dumb mistakes, a lot of dumb turnovers. But even through the stinkiness, watching more stinky basketball. I'm like, well, this bodes well for us viewers because the game is staying close through all this stinkiness. We're going to get a good finish. This is great, okay? Yes, I've watched 35 minutes, which equals, 2 hours of really crappy basketball, but boy, oh boy, we're about to get paid off with a great ending. And again, it happens. Some big made buckets. I'm like, here we go. Some good defensive plays. Florida and Houston take the national championship down to the final play. We are going to get a Chris Jenkins, Mario Chalmers, Gordon Hayward shot to win it all. Here we go. Is this shot going to be Gordon Hayward and it's going to rim out and Houston's going to lose the national championship? Or is someone going to make a big shot like Mario Chalmers, like Chris Jenkins for Villanova and win the national championship? Oh my gosh. All of this sucky basketball is about to be paid off in this moment, and they inbound it and they don't even get a shot off. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Just a dreadful basketball game. Continually telling myself that it was going to finish well. We were putting up with all this crappy basketball for this ending we all deserved, and they don't even get the shot up so that we could hold our breath for a moment and say, who's the champion? Doesn't even happen. What a mess of a game. But congrats to Florida. You are the national champions of college basketball. By the way, Lexington Mike gave my kids this. I had to hide it in the computer room. If you ever want to give your kids the worst toy ever, give them a recorder. I had to hide it in here in the computer room because the kids don't come in here. And when I didn't hide it in here, that was a terrible gift, Lexington Mike. Never again. The other sports thing I wanted to bring up, the Masters happened over this last weekend, so something a little more topical than a game that has since been forgotten. I don't like Rory. I actually enjoyed following the Masters this weekend. I'm trying to get myself in a mind space where I want to at least tune into some golf. So I'm trying to get myself some golfers that I'm going to cheer for, which is what you need to do to get into, for me anyways, to get into golf, because I'm not really in it to watch for the technicality of every shot and the, this is how you're going to approach this and the ins and outs of the game. I'm in it for who's going to win, who's going to lose. I'm out on Rory. So that was a rough one for me over the weekend. I didn't want him to get the personal Grand Slam. And I will tell you, after talking to my buddies this weekend, I am in the vast minority. So many of my buddies, Andy included, Ryan, Kenny, the guys I was talking a lot of Masters with, they're so excited that Rory got the Grand Slam, the Rory Grand Slam, where he got all 4 of the majors. He's won them all. They were so excited about it. And I was like, I'm a Tiger guy. I now get the Michael Jordan lovers who hate LeBron because Jordan's their guy. I went straight to that fan mode. I have ripped that forever. I get sick of the Jordan people who are like, Michael Jordan's my guy. LeBron couldn't possibly be in the conversation with Jordan because Michael Jordan is my guy. I'm not going to pay attention to any of the facts, any of the stats. The fact that he's 40 years old and still dominating, I'm not going to pay attention to anything. No way he could be better than Michael Jordan. I don't even care. Okay? I've always hated that. And immediately, I'm that guy. I'm like, Tiger's my guy. I don't even want to hear about Rory. Boo-hoo. Congratulations on your stupid Grand Slam. Oh, you're one of 6 people to do it? Go search Tiger Woods' crazy stats if you want to see real crazy golf stats. I was that guy all weekend. And then when I really thought about it on Monday, after seeing a bunch of Rory stuff, I was like, yeah, I need to back that one off. I don't like Rory at all. But I can't just hate him only because I'm a Tiger Woods fan. So I just hate him because I don't like him. Is that fair? I'm gonna do that. So I hope you enjoyed your Masters. Hopefully your weekend went well, and we're off to a good week. My week is hectic as all get out. So thank you for hanging in there through another week of no podcast. That was nowhere near anything I could record. We were gone all weekend and then had company here, but we're back. And I hope your weekend went well, like I said, and I hope this week is looking good.